Hey guys, this is Attorney Walter Knott. This is going to be part 2 of the original video we had going before where I was live. Unfortunately, we lost the lead, or rather the line to the internet for some reason, and then all of a sudden people couldn't see me. We're going to wait for people to join up again, and then we're going to go ahead and take the next call and begin the process of going through this. I hope you are all well. Let's get rolling. We've got some people joining right now. Excellent, excellent. Here we go, guys. I'm going to go ahead and basically go into the phone calls that I've been receiving. Here we go. Right now, let me check it out. Let's see. Okay, excellent, excellent. Very good, very good. So we're going to call this person right now. We're going to connect, and we're going to restart the show and get everybody rolling. So I hope you're ready. Let's see what we can get going here. Let's see. Okay, speaker is on. Hopefully we can get through to this person, and that would be very, very good. Excellent. We're calling them right now. Here we go. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We are live on YouTube right now. Remember to go ahead and use whatchamacallit. So what I'm going to have you do is go ahead and mute the speaker on your computer. Perfect. And now here's the deal. We are live. So would you like me to answer some questions, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you?
Well, I spoke to you last week, and you told me to call you this week to let you know what happened.
Yes. So what happened?
We were talking about that 1/3 rule, and since I'm new on disability, I never knew anything. But before I got that 795 form or something like that, I called my attorney, who's always able to get in touch with SSI, not me, for months. She got right with him, and the lady who I spoke to was very nice.
Good.
She went back to the original date, changed everything so that I wasn't receiving any help, and also put in my full benefits from that date.
Good.
And stated that they owed me $3,600.
Excellent.
So I really appreciate you so, man. I really do.
Excellent.
And I didn't have to put in the form. As the food stamps, I think they had deducted that because remember I told you that they went down to $460.
Oh wow, yeah.
And my stamps went all the way down to $85. But they called yesterday, and when I went to the automated phone service, they said that I'm going to be receiving 109 in 2 days. So that brings back up to, I guess, a 204. So, I mean, really, man, I really appreciate your help. Absolutely. And I'm going to stay in touch. And, you know, you keep doing what you're doing, man, and hopefully I'll be able to help you one day.
Excellent, excellent. Well, sounds good, good sir. Have a wonderful night, and thank you so much for calling in and sharing with everybody. The 1/3 reduction rule is that's my least favorite rule, but I will catch you in the future, and don't forget to check in, all right?
Yeah, I was listening to you earlier today with some of the things for the letter also, because there's a lot of things that, I mean, now that I'm 61, I'm getting disability, and I start seeing a lot of things, really experiencing everything, man. And a lot of the people do need help.
Yes, yes, in a big way.
Know, it's like you said, how poor do they want us to be?
That's a tough question to ask, too, because when you think about it, how poor do we want our disabled? How poor do we want our retired to be? And the odd thing about that is it places this heavy burden on lawmakers to say, well, why aren't we spending more money that they've paid in on these people? These are the Americans that which deserve all the benefit that the country can give them. So to make them kind of like not a third class, but somewhere in between traditional class and third class citizen, in my opinion, is a real shame. And here's why. When you have people who work and they lose the functional capacity to work and become disabled, I just putting them into this stalled gridlock is terrible. That's almost as bad as their disabling conditions as they are themselves. So I just, I'm concerned about the political theater that's been going on. I am concerned about the future of politics when it comes to the benefits that people receive. And I'm very concerned about something else that I'm going to be making a video on, which is the top 5 things of how cancel culture can cancel your benefits. Because believe it or not, it's bad. There are 5 ways that I've found where cancel culture can actually negate your benefits. And when I started researching this, I thought this can't exist. And then it happened. I started to peel away what was going on, and I was absolutely frightened, because could you imagine if somebody lost their retirement benefits or lost their disability benefits because of something the cancel culture did, or one of the new statutes that came out? It's very scary. And I'm going to tell you right up front, the first one that's the most worrisome for me is this. People don't understand that they are changing the definition of what's considered a domestic terrorist. And if you are somehow related in any way to any one of these groups, whether on the left or on the right, then very sadly, they have the right to go ahead and basically take your assets and hold on to them until they adjudicate your claim. They can take your assets before you have a trial. They can take your assets before a jury is even called. And that's scary. That's very scary, So anyway, good sir, I will catch you a little bit later. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
You too, man. We appreciate you, man. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so I missed the call from the first person. I know it's the first person because they're calling in with like a hidden number thing. So I'm going to give like 1 minute for that person to give me a call back. That's the first person we were talking to that has the little hidden number thingy. So while that's going on, I want to tell you guys about stuff that I'm going to be releasing in the near future that I think is very relevant. Here's the thing. There are political changes that are occurring. And one of the big things that I want you to be aware of is basically that President Biden has the intent to either get rid of or reduce the importance of the 3. I got to get this call. Hold on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott with Disability Resolution PA. How are you? Very good. We are live on YouTube right now. Make sure you use a fake name. And would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to go ahead and basically run hearing questions with you? And remember to mute your computer. Perfect.
Okay. Walter, I already get disability.
Okay.
I'm one of the people that got disability back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
That I heard you talking about that one time, about how it's changed through the years.
Yeah, huge.
Right. I had terminal brain damage, so mine happened back when I was 16. Didn't realize I was disabled till I was about 30. I lost my other eyesight. So I lost one eye when I was 16. There wasn't CAT scans and all that, so they didn't realize how bad I had brain damage till I got older.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is my question. My wife, she's 34. She has been diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Yeah, tough.
And so we also have a son that's 9. When my wife passes away, will there be any benefits for us? Will there be...
Has she worked throughout her life?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's on disability right now.
Okay. So basically, yes.
Okay, so both of us are on disability. Plus, I also receive money for our 9-year-old son.
Okay. Now, who worked more out of the two of you?
Be me.
Okay.
Because I'm 59.
Okay.
So she's only 34. So.
Gotcha. There are survivor benefits that the child could potentially fall into. Also, since you worked more than her, your benefits are probably very likely going to be larger than hers. So, they
are.
Yeah. So what that means is that normally if you were to go ahead and take the option of taking your spouse's benefits, you'd have to look at essentially who actually has the higher benefits. And in this case, you would. They're not stackable, though. That's kind of the thing that a lot of people want to know about. Can they stack those benefits? So in short answer, yeah, you could, but you wouldn't want to because you'd end up with less per month.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, good, sir. Do you have any additional questions for me before I pop off to the next caller?
Yes, I kind of do. So when it comes time for my retirement, well, is it better for me to stay on my disability than to be on retirement?
Okay, that's a really good question. So the reality of it is this. With both programs, you ultimately automatically get pushed onto retirement. For SSI, you get pushed onto retirement if you have 40 quarters of coverage at the earliest age, which is 62. For SSDI, you get switched over from SSDI benefits to retirement, so long as you have enough quarters of coverage. Basically, when you reach well, actually, it would still transit, but the bottom line is you would go ahead and transition at when you've reached the 100% mark, which for most people nowadays is 66 years old, somewhere in between 66 and 67 years old, and then after a certain point, it'll be everybody over 60. Everybody will be full retirement when they reach 67. Now, with that said, you're going to basically stay on your benefits until you reach that maximum amount. And that thing is, with SSDI benefits, you can't keep riding those to go even farther. Like a lot of people will go ahead and wait even longer until they reach 70, but that won't actually help you in any way. And the program will automatically switch you over from SSDI benefits once you reach 67 anyway. So you won't be able to kind of super maximize the benefits like a lot of people like to do when they're waiting for retirement. Because if you wait until you're 70, you get to earn even more from each month. But the reality is you could die any day, so you got to, figure out how much risk do you want to take.
Right. You were saying about what we'd be asking Biden. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
And it would, my thing is to be able to be more of an American, and we've lost the American dream. Yes. When you get disabled, you lost the American dream. There's no American dream no more. They try to say there's, like I went and got a job and it was to better myself and it was for a Continental. And they turned around and so I left my job because they told me I had a job. Mm-hmm. I go to that job and now they tell me, hey, you don't have a job. I said, why? Well, the insurance company that we have, they say that you're not going to be able to hear the engines running on the jets. So for that reason, you're out.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of benefits and rights that a lot of people should be able to get. All right, well, I tell you what. Tell me more about it. What happened? Tell me more about what happened with that.
Just like I said, I had to go back and ask my old job back.
Mm-hmm. What did that do to you emotionally?
It tore me up.
How did that evolve? What was the timeline that happened?
Makes you. What was the entitlement?
No, what was the timeline? What was the timeline that happened with that? Like, where did you start? What happened with it? Where'd you end up?
Where'd I end up? I ended up in construction.
Mm-hmm.
It basically knocks the sales out of you. Well, first I was going to go to be a air traffic controller. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. So I went to go in the military. Oh, by the way, you can't do that. You're a 4F. Mm-hmm. Every time you turn around, you get knocked down, man.
So one of the things I've noticed that affects people the most emotionally is that they know that they're disabled, but the problem is when the SSA comes down and says, well, you're not disabled enough, that person can't go back to the job they had. The SSA is saying, go get a simpler job, which is basically taking what you were and squishing it down to the most basic fundamentals of what jobs exist out there, which a lot of people, understandably, have respect issues with themselves after that. When you take somebody who used to be doing something specialized and say, now I want you to do the most unspecialized jobs that exist in the nation, That has a huge emotional effect on them. So I want to ask you this.
Sure.
Emotionally, when you had that happen to you, how did it change you?
Oh, it not only changed me, but even my family looked at me different.
Mm-hmm. Well, what does that mean?
It's like you lost pedigree in your family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Everybody else excelled, and well, look at you.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, let me ask you this. So when you lose that standing in your family, did you ever regain it, or is it one of those things that's gone forever?
Oh, it's gone.
What were the things that you used to
gone.
enjoy about that respect that you no longer were able to enjoy since you lost it?
I don't know, just kind of the stature, just just part of feeling involved more,
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, because I had traumatic brain damage, it was more like, well, you only have one eye, because my surgeon really did really good job. And I remember you saying about, you can't tell,
Mm-hmm.
When somebody, I went to work one time and actually ended up in a parking lot and couldn't remember how to get to the job site.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd already been there. So, but that happened recently in the last 15 years or so. I tried to work periodically here and there, and finally disability told me, you can't get off disability anymore. So.
Now, let me ask you this. If you could work, what kind of job would you do? What would be,
I can't.
Well, no.
There's no way I can now. But what would I want to do?
Yeah.
I'd want to be a pilot.
Mm-hmm. What kind of pilot?
Commercial pilot, work for myself pilot.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'd really like to work for myself pilot.
Okay. So when you say work for yourself pilot, do you mean like a bush pilot? Do you mean like a cargo pilot? Do you transfer?
Yeah, kind of like a bush pilot.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether I was, flying around Alaska and stuff, or
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or, Florida Keys, Jamaica. I'm not going to be picky.
Is there? Yeah, Jamaica's nice. That would be nice. I've been to Jamaica when I was really young, and they had the glass bottom boats way back in the day, and it was a paradise. But let me ask you this. Is there any aspect of the pilot field, the aviation field, that you feel that you could assist with in the slightest of manners?
Oh, yeah. Back when I was wanting to,
sure.
Oh, yeah, there was nothing wrong with me. I even played sports, and my coaches that had been coaching me for years, they even tried to take me out of my positions.
Okay.
And I had to fight to stay in my positions.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
It was kind of,
Well, good, sir. I'm going to pop over to the next caller. You have a wonderful, wonderful night and a beautiful weekend. And don't be afraid to reach out in the future, okay?
Oh, no problem. Thanks.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys. So let's see real quick. Let me see. Let me get this real quick. All right, we're going to call the next person. Let's keep this going. Here we go. And remember, guys, we're only going to do this until 10 because I've got to work on a brief until 12, and then I've got to go ahead and go to the USPS after that. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. Real quick, what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to go ahead and basically go live. I just have to do something real quick. The original caller I was supposed to keep speaking with actually keeps calling me from a phone number that doesn't show the phone number, so I can't call them back, ironically. But either way, let's do this. We're going to do this phone call because I started calling you to begin with. But, Madame, go ahead and state, don't use your real name. Would you like me to answer a question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you?
No, I just have a question.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, I'm on SSDI, and I did the unthinkable, and I actually worked and went over the limit
Sure.
of what the income, they give you for income.
Sure.
And now I'm not sure how to handle this situation.
Okay.
I was given some misinformation that when I turned 62, it would just automatically transfer to a regular retirement, and there would be no income limitations at that time, but that's not true. So I find this out a year later, and I got a letter from Social Security, and they're asking about my income. So I don't know how to proceed.
Okay,
Well,
no
maybe you could
biggie.
help.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you work for longer than 9 months?
Yes. I've been working the whole time that I've been on Social Security. I've been working, but I've never exceeded the income limitations before.
How long have you been working, while receiving?
Since 2007.
2007. Okay, so very, very long time. You just went over. What was the first year that you went over the amount?
The year with COVID.
Oh, I can't hear you. Say it again.
When COVID, the last year with COVID.
Okay, so around maybe February, March, April, that area. Okay.
Right.
All right. So here's the deal. In order to battle this, you have to go ahead and explain to them why you don't believe you essentially should have to pay back the money, or you don't believe you're totally at fault, just partially at fault, or why basically you would like to appeal and say, okay, I don't think I should have to go ahead and do this because of A, B, C, and D. Now, what is your reasoning for why you didn't know that there was an income limit, and that income limit was something that, and how much should we go over here? How much should we talk about? What's your overpayment amount?
Oh, I'm not sure, because all I see is like the annual amount. So they're claiming that 1 year I made $23,000, but I don't see that on my W-2s.
So help me out real quick. How much are they saying that you were overpaid?
Well, they haven't actually said it yet. They just
so we're in the beginning stages. Okay.
I'll be getting that.
Okay. So to answer this relatively quickly, you need the following 2 forms. Form number 1 is called the SSA 632, and then just PDF, like put PDF into it, basically, when you search it on Google. So SSA 632 PDF. That's the first one you're going to need. The second one you're going to need is SSA 561. Now, those forms, they do different things. One of them is an appeal form. That's the SSA 561. And one of them is basically a reduction of the overpayment form. That's where you're making your arguments as to, why it should be reduced, how much can it be reduced to. And then ultimately you'll negotiate with the SSA as to a monthly amount that you'll pay back. And I mean, I don't know how much you earned over, but it could be 10 grand, it could be 30 grand, it could be 50 grand. I don't know, So what I would say is this: you'll be getting a letter in the not too distant future. When you get that letter, it is imperative that you go ahead and reach back out, and I'll let you know which way you need to go based upon how much they're asking for.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I'll do that.
Perfect.
Because I'm not sure if they're going to stop the benefits altogether, or they're just going to ask for a reduction, or if I should apply for a waiver, or I'm not sure.
Well, that is the waiver, the 632, and the appeal is to basically go. Yeah, but so those are the forms that you need to go through to begin the process.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So
excellent. You have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and catch up with us at some point in the future.
You too, and your dogs are adorable.
Thank you. They are asleep on the couch. They ran into some burgers, and now they're all tuckered out and snuggled up on the couch. So yeah, I finally learned how to deal with like the constant, craziness that they would do, because they would hear me talking over here, and they'd be like, "Well, I want to be part of that. I want to get some snuggles. Where's my rubbies?" And I've just learned to just, give them what they want, which is, meat, food, and then they go take a nap, and then they wake up, literally they're going to wake up right around 10 and just start complaining and bitching and whining and everything. So, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm a dog person too, so
Good.
I understand.
Good. Oh,
well, thank you for your help.
Thank you. You too. I'll catch you later. Have a wonderful night.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys. Excellent. All right. So what are we looking at here? Okay, let's see what's going on. All right. Let me see what's going on here. Now, I had a bunch of people call in there. What I got to do is, let's see. Here we go. Oh, hold on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We are live on YouTube right now. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. And also, please remember to go ahead and let me know, would you like me to answer a specific question or run hearing questions with you throughout this live session? So, good sir, what would you like?
Hey, do you deal with veterans claims at all?
I don't. Actually, I did some of that stuff in the very beginning, but I have so many disability claimants that I just don't do VA claims. But with that said, the programs are quasi-similar, somewhat similar. Is it a general question or a specific statute question?
Yeah, it could be. I just want to know if I have a case for filing, actually. What it is my exit screening, when I first got out of the Navy, turns out that my blood sugar was 111, which by all my Google searches shows that I was pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
Because it was a fasting lab at 111, and now I'm full-blown diabetic. And I've had a heart attack through heart disease because of it, and I'm wondering if I can get all this tied together and prove that I was headed that way before, so I can get service-connected disability.
Sure.
What steps should I take? Should I go see a doctor and have them write something up, or?
So just let me give let me give a preliminary thingy to the people who are watching so they understand the difference between VA benefits and disability benefits right off the start, which is that VA benefits are for veteran affairs and usually fall into basically two main programs. But in all likelihood with this situation, you have to understand this above all. Disability benefits, the federal civil version that basically, people get SSDI or SSI, that's where you're either fully disabled or you're not. VA benefits, there's a percentage that gets put to each impairment that you have. And the more of a percentage you have, the more at a certain point you get to actually, obtain more benefits per month. Now, in your case, good sir, if we're talking about diabetic and, it's not controlled and this is a real problem and yada, yada, then yes, the way you would do it is you'd begin by going to a general physician who would then switch you over to a specialist physician, and they begin the testing and medication that goes with it. Now, at what point of this are you medically? Like, who have you seen so far?
Well, I seen the VA, and about a year and 4 months after I got out, that's when I was diagnosed diabetic. And that would have been in 2008. And then in 2010, I actually, 2017, I had my heart attack, as a result of diabetes. But, the thing that makes me the maddest is they just took the numbers, put it in my service record and said adios. They didn't bother telling me that I was pre-diabetic. From what I read, if you're pre-diabetic, it's curable. If I would have known, maybe I would have never became diabetic,
It's curable for some people. Remember, there's diabetes that's genetic and, you can't get around it. And then there's diabetes that basically, you change your diet, you take some medication, everything gets better. You got to understand, diabetes comes in many flavors and many types. So, it's one of those gigs where maybe. Do you know what kind of diabetes you have?
Type 2.
Okay, so that's you know what I mean? And that's the thing is, you're going to be, look, now, so what kind of medications are you currently taking for it?
I'm on insulin and 2 or 3 different kinds of pills. It's not bad. I don't know the name of them. I know one's metformin.
Yeah, the classic. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. Now, have you been on these a long time, or is this kind of the beginning for you?
I've actually been on since I was, like I said, in 2008.
2008. So you've had it a while. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are you unable to work because of it?
Right. Yes, I'm actually non-service connected disability right now for my heart.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more benefits to being service connected for sure.
But you don't have SSDI benefits as well?
No, I was denied for that. But right at the same time, the VSO submitted the paperwork for non-service, and right at the same time, I got the denial paperwork from the SSI. I got the approval letter through the VA, so I never bothered fighting them.
So good, sir. Let me ask you this: how old are you?
I am 46.
Okay. Tomorrow, the only thing that you have to do, other than take your medication and do basic survival things, is to go and file for Social Security disability insurance, because those are stackable benefits that you may be able to have, which means you could essentially nearly double what you're getting per month right now.
Okay.
That's your only job.
Okay.
If you're like, I got to watch Netflix, or I haven't seen The Mandalorian yet. No. This is the more important. So, perfect.
Gotcha.
Excellent, good sir. Well, good sir, I will catch you later. You have a wonderful night, and don't be afraid to check back in the future.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name instead of your real name. And would you like me to go ahead and answer a specific question? Oh, no, we lost the person. Hold on. Goodness, let me see what we got. Let me see. Oh, my goodness. We got a million phone calls. I must need like a person just to like run the phone, It's not that I'm saying I can't, but it's like it would be easier if I had somebody like take the phone call and process the phone call and blah, blah, blah. But anyways, like a radio station almost, which is kind of like what we're doing here anyways. Let's see. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. Can you hear me okay? Perfect. We're going to go live on YouTube right now. And would you like me to go ahead and answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions? And don't forget to use a fake name.
Okay, just a specific question.
Sure.
Okay, I've been on disability since I was 58. I'm going to be 62 in July.
Okay.
Now, my question is, am I better off staying on disability at 60 when I turn 62, or should I switch it over to regular retirement? Because I want to go back to work. Mm-hmm. Now, would that benefit me through the income limit if I stay on disability, or if I switch over to Social Security?
And just to make sure, you're an SSDI, not SSI.
Right.
Okay.
Nope, I'm on SSDI.
So
I had 2 hip replacements back when I was 58.
Okay, good.
And I worked my entire life.
Yeah, hip replacements, people don't realize that's no joke. That is like a miserable, painful process.
It was.
Yeah, so
it was.
Hats off to you for surviving that. I try to put contacts in my eyes because I can't see worth anything at this point, but I couldn't even do it. And then people are like, I did 2 hips.
Can't do it.
I was just like, what? So, all right, I hear you.
I still can't do contacts.
Yeah, I can't do it. Actually, true story, a lady was a very nice lady, too, was trying to put contacts in my eyes, and my body, freaked out, and I ended up hitting her. And I felt horrible.
I'm afraid.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm afraid of forgetting they're in there.
Yeah, I never thought about that. That's a good additional fear that I should have. I'll add that to the list. I like that. That's good.
Yeah, and then I worked with a woman who forgot. She went to sleep, and one of them rolled back into her head, and she had big problems. So there's something else you can put on the list.
I'm putting it on the list. Let me tell you. For the non-contact wear, I actually have glasses coming shortly. I picked out 2 pairs of glasses, which ironically were from the same damn brand. I didn't even realize it. But anyway, the answer to your question is very simple. You're going to wait. You're going to wait until basically you hit full retirement, which for you will probably be around 66, 67. And then you'll transition directly from that over to your full retirement. That way you take your full retirement. So you're going to sit on SSDI, hit your full retirement age, and then you'll transition.
Now, if I go back to work, how will that affect my benefits if I go back to work? Will they decrease? Will they stay the same?
All right, so here's the trick.
If I stay within the income limit.
Wow, nobody ever really stays within it. Come on now. So, all right, here's what you're going to do. All right, magically you can stay within the income limits, then you should be okay.
Why can't I stay within the limit?
You know, I'm sure. Look. Everybody that's like, I'm going to stay within the income limit. I get a call 2 years later and they go, guess what? I go, I already know. I know exactly what you did.
No, I'm not going to owe these people any. No. Mm-mm.
All right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to contact the local regional field office or your local field office and ask to go ahead and be signed up with the Ticket to Work program. The Ticket to Work program gives you 5 years to go ahead, work, 5 years to earn, keep your benefits, keep your Ticket to Work program. So you get your money, you get your benefits, you get to keep them both. And then basically you're going to go ahead and ride that puppy until you get to your full retirement and then switch over to full retirement.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
I like it. Yeah.
Thank you.
You as well. Have a wonderful night.
Oh, you too. Thank you so much for your help.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good night, attorney.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys. So a lot of, I don't even know where to start, but I'm just going to click one right here. I'm going to call this one. Hold on one moment. All right, let's see if we can get through to this person. One seckaroo. Here we go. Okay, we got a voicemail one. We're going on the next one. Boop, 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 ba-doo. Let's see. Here we go, guys. I'll get another person on the line. Just 1 second. Hey, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We are live on YouTube right now. Remember to use a fake name. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you?
I have a question.
Sure, go for it.
Well, I'm on Social Security disability right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or SSDI, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to be on SSDI. And during this COVID crisis, right, the Social Security Administration told me I had to go on my regular Social Security, right? Otherwise, they'd stop my benefit. And what happened was, instead of putting me on regular Social Security, they put me on SSDI, right? And gave me about $100 bump in what I was usually getting, which was very little. It was $870-something, and now it's $900 and something.
Mm-hmm.
But can they do that? I don't understand how they get away with forcing me to take my retirement before 66. I'm only 65, or almost 65 now.
So you're supposed to ride that to your full retirement, but I mean, your full retirement might be 65. Are you sure you're supposed to have your full retirement at 66?
Yeah, because I was born in 1956.
56, yeah. So then, okay. So yeah, they shouldn't have pushed you over to retirement. That makes no sense to me, unless they were doing something odd. Did they send you a letter with specific statement as to what the law was, as to why they were able to transition you? Or was it purely a thing where they told you that you had to do it, you did it, and they just sent you a letter of the change?
They told me I had to do it and gave me a date for like a telephone interview.
Mm-hmm.
And they took all my personal information, right? and then said they were going to put me on regular Social Security, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they finally put it through, instead of putting me on regular Social Security, they put me on SSDI.
SSD. Sorry, good sir.
It's really weird. I've never heard anybody else ever having this done to them. You know, and I just wanted to know what your opinion is on it.
Run me by it again because the phone cut out there for a moment. I didn't hear it. Give me the timeline again, but give me the years though.
Okay. It started about March last year when everybody was locked down for COVID, right? And I was on SSI, getting about $870 a month.
How are you getting that on SSI though? Because SSI is $794. Were you getting a hybrid allowance with SSI SSDI, or how was that working?
I was on regular SSI to begin with, right? Until they contacted me and told me that I had to take my regular Social Security retirement, right? They said if I didn't do it, they would revoke my benefits and I'd have to wait till I was 66 to get any benefits at all. It was like they were holding a gun to my head. Right?
Okay.
Then I did the telephone interview. They took down my personal information. And then instead of putting me on regular Social Security, they put me on SSDI, which they bumped my payments about $100.
All right. This doesn't sound correct at all because look, if you're on SSI and you're 64, 65, when you're on SSI, they automatically translate you over to retirement at 62. So that just does not make sense. You know what I mean? That's the first issue. The second issue is, why would they transition you from SSI to SSDI? I mean, how long has it been since you've worked?
About 10 years.
So then you wouldn't meet the recency requirement of 20 quarters of coverage within the past 10 years to be transitioned onto SSDI. So you're making too much on SSI. They moved you over to retire. All right, here's probably what happened. You probably have a hybrid allowance of SSI and SSDI, which is where basically when you get to retirement, they're supposed to transition you over to retirement at 62. But they probably screwed up and didn't. And now they were doing an audit on the system.
Yeah, but I never wanted to take it early at 62 in the first place. Right. I wanted to wait till I was 66 so I could get the full benefit.
Okay, so here's the thing. And I get that. But when you're taking SSI, you don't get that choice. You don't have a choice. They automatically do that when you hit 62. So, the bottom line here is they screwed up probably, did an audit, saw that and said, oh, not good. And what they did was they called you up and said, guess what? You're going on retirement whether you like it or not. And that was your transition on to retirement because they probably didn't process it properly. So
that's
in that case,
what they told me. But then instead of putting me on regular Social Security, they put me on SSDI.
Mm-hmm.
So now, am I going to be able to switch over to regular Social Security when I turn 66? Or is it just going to stay this way?
Well, no matter what, you're going on to retirement, which you called regular Social Security, at 66. So no matter what you do, you're going there. I'm not sure you really know what you've got or what you're getting. I'm not totally sold on that yet. If you wanna send me an email with the letter and I'll take a look at it and kind of advise you from there, I can always do that. But what you should do is shoot me a letter with the email. Let me look at it and then call in next Thursday and I'll tell you what's actually going on.
Never mind all that. I just want to know what you thought, and if you've ever heard of anybody else having this done to them.
I have. I really have. And it's usually where they screw up and don't process the benefits at the timeline spots when they're supposed to. And that usually happens when, somebody basically is getting a hybrid allowance.
Well, thank you very much for having me on the show.
Absolutely, good sir. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch up with you later.
You too. Stay healthy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, we're going to go to the next phone call. Shadow's very excited about it. He hasn't started to sleep yet. Let's see. Let's get him over here. Here we go. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We are currently live on YouTube. Please remember to use a fake name. And would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you?
I would love to ask you a question.
Absolutely. How can I help?
I've been mentally sick for past 18 years.
Okay.
And I've been diagnosed with SMI.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been denied twice.
Okay.
And everybody's telling me that, don't worry, you're definitely going to get it. My doctor, the lawyer, and every time I'm in front of a judge, I get denial, even if the person who is in the court, the one who qualifies, if you're capable of doing any work, even that person says, I'm not qualified to do any work. I still get denial. Right now, I'm waiting for appeal. And I have no idea why I'm being denied.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So the first thing you said, SMI, right? The serious mental illness?
Correct.
Okay, so what is your SMI?
I'm on 6 psychotropic medications. I have all kinds of mental problems.
What are the mental issues?
I have bipolar. Okay. I have severe, when I get stressed, I can't talk. But basically, I can't be in public because I get paranoid and I have to leave. Like, I can't even go to the grocery store.
So
I don't remember what that calls.
So you have anxiety with panic attacks. What else do you have?
A social disorder, social phobia.
Okay. Social anxiety or social phobia. Gotcha. Okay. What else is going on?
And just like a huge general anxiety, bipolar. And huge because of the medications. I can't remember anything. So memory is like a huge problem. And I don't leave the house.
Okay.
Because I'm just afraid.
Okay, gotcha. Understood. So let me ask you this. You have these mental impairments. You have an attorney. Are you worried about the hearing? What are you worried about?
I just don't understand what do you have to tell the lawyer to convince them that you are sick? It's like you have all these proofs. I've been sick for 18 years. Everybody's telling me that I deserve that few bucks.
Okay.
No.
So let me ask you this. Do you mean what do you tell the judge? The judge that's going to be, reviewing the claim? Or do you mean your specific attorney?
No, it's like right now I was denied in last January. So now my case is I have a new attorney. And I'm going to go for appeal, and she said it's going to take about a year. So when I go for the appeal in front of a judge, what am I supposed to tell them? That they're going to change their mind. Like my previous judge, the lawyer told me, we're going to get denial because he denies 90% of people. So now my life is in the hands of a judge who just denies everybody. It's like, who are you supposed to complain to that you are being unfairly treated?
So one of the things I want to point out that you're talking about is one of the very unfair things about this system. And I want to just tell you some things about it. First and foremost, the attorneys do not have a magic green button to push to get you approved. The only people who have that button are the judges. And the reality is this. You've got to understand that when you get a judge that has a 90% denial rate, those are the super whales of denials. Some of them, the joke is that basically you could be in a coma and they could deny you. And they do exist, and there's no way to really get around that other than basically to change the jurisdiction that you're in, or you could call it venue essentially, but you're changing the geographic area that you're in to get a different judge. So if you lived in a different area, they could give you a new judge so long as you wanted to have an in-person hearing. But keep in mind,
unfortunately, they don't allow in person. It's all via
it's telephonic.
computer.
Exactly. So that's the problem you run into is that, you could go to Alaska and still do a telephonic hearing. So the issue here is this: you're stuck with that judge. There is no definitive way nowadays. Anyway, you used to be able to switch geographic areas and things like that, but the bottom line is there's no definitive way to get that judge to absolutely approve you. But what you're really asking me is, how do I magically get this approved? And the way you get it approved is by having a bunch of specialists mark down in RFC letters for a judge that's got a 90% denial rate. So you need like 3 RFCs, residual functional capacity forms. Again, residual functional capacity forms. You need 3 specialist doctors to write down that you are not able to work and to show that you have marked or serious limitations in the 4 functional aspects of basically disability. So that's how you beat somebody like that, because they're not going to touch that and deny it. They're going to approve that. Now, how old are you currently?
51.
You're 51. So you got a potential grid out option that the judge can take. My point to you is basically this. You need a bunch of specialists, 3 specialists, to fill out RFCs that show that you're unable to go ahead and function. When is your hearing?
When? I don't know yet. We're still waiting for the date.
Are you in reconsideration or the ALJ hearing stage?
I don't even know which state I'm in.
The stage being like the stage of like, all right, so you know that you're waiting for a hearing, right? So you know you're at the ALJ hearing stage.
Yeah, we're appealing, so I don't know which stage that is.
All right.
How far into the appeal process? I don't know, because I didn't get any letter from her.
All right. So here's the deal that I'd like to proffer to you. What you're really asking me is, what questions are they going to ask me, and then how do I answer them really well? That's kind of what you're really getting at. You're also getting at, how do I magically win this claim? But so the first one is you need to go watch the following playlist of videos. The playlist of videos is called the Top 50 ALJ Trick Questions. Again, the Top 50 ALJ Trick Questions. That's a playlist of videos I created for people to go ahead and basically understand what the top 50 ALJ trick questions are. And that'll get you rolling in the right direction. Now, with that said, just so you know, you're still going to need evidence to back your claim. You're still going to need, all those. You're still going to need letters from friends and family explaining the mental illnesses. You're still going to need letters from the people you used to work with. You're still going to need to go ahead and, it always helps to get a sleep study with those who have mental impairments to show a lack of ability to sleep. There's a lot of things that attorney should be doing with you, a side effects list, things like that you have for your medication. There's a lot of things that attorney should be doing with you to get you on track to go ahead and be successful with this claim.
This is the first I'm hearing that.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. I don't know. There's a lot of crappy disability attorneys out there. Yours may not be that. I don't know the person, but and you don't have to say their name. But the point is, learn your field if you're applying for these benefits, because trust me, they're changing all the time. I have to look stuff up all the time because it's changing all the time. 10 years ago, the stuff was the same for 20 years. So, just start to learn your field, but start with that first seminar list of videos being the top 50 ALJ trick videos or trick questions that you'll experience at a hearing. And that should really help you be successful in understanding the basic fundamentals of these videos, or rather the questions at a hearing. The other thing you really want to look at are the top 200 disability hearing questions, the top 200 disability hearing questions. That will go ahead and get you set up to be successful as well, because that'll give you more of the common questions that you hear. And those common questions are not the trick questions, but those are the common questions you're still going to have a good answer for. And like, I'll give you an example of the most basic one that I think is important, which is, what are your top 5 most severe impairments? What would your answer to that be?
Fear of people,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
severe depression,
Uh-huh.
And I don't get along with people. I get very irritable to the point that I explode.
Okay. All right. So you need to work on that list a little better. You're not really sure what they're all called. You're not sure what the medical notations are, the actual diagnostic names of them. Work on that list, because, I mean, remember, when you get in there, you're punting, you're shooting that basketball hoop, you're hitting that golf ball off of those top five impairments. That's what they're going to want to know about. So let me ask you again real quick. Let's do a little testimony shaping. Ma'am, what are the top 5 most severe impairments that you have?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, I mean, I'm not your I'm not your attorney. I would love to tell you. I'd love to prep your claim, but I'm not it. I'm not that guy. So, look, let me. All right, let's do this. If I were to sum up what's going on with you, I would say this. Obviously, this is an individual with anxiety, depression, schizoaffective, panic attacks, maybe some PTSD. Now, look, do you have nightmares? Do you have, flashbacks? Do you have things like that?
Yes, I do have PTSD. I was molested as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And let me ask you this. Are you currently treating for the PTSD? Do you bring it up with your doctors?
Yes.
Okay. And let me ask you this. Have you been able to go ahead and lessen the amount of nightmares and or flashbacks that you currently have based upon it?
No.
Okay. So let me ask you this. How does PTSD limit your ability to work?
I feel like every man is my enemy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel safe around people.
Mm-hmm.
I get very agitated, and I'm easy when I'm around, like, one-on-one with people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always scared. I only feel safe at home.
I would like to ask you something real quick, and this is, just be honest with me. Most female claimants, they tell me, they have PTSD or that there was something that happened when they were young, way too late in the game. So just be honest with me on this. Do you currently hear male voices sometimes that are not actually there?
Yes.
When you hear these male voices, is their speech intelligible? Can you understand what they're saying?
No. I just hear laughing.
Okay. And the laughing, is that a laughing that you remember from as being a child?
I remember them talking and laughing.
Okay. And that talking and laughing from
It
those
was done by 2 cousins.
Okay. Now these 2 cousins, are they still alive or have they passed away?
They're alive.
Okay. Do you still have anything to do with them at all?
No, they're in Europe.
Okay. All right. So the beginning of this, and I want to ask you a very medically personal question if you're willing to share the information. It's okay if you don't want to. Have you addressed basically how you're going to move forward from those memories and what you're going to do with those memories and how you're going to go ahead and start to soothe your body and your mind with those issues that you've had?
I just tried to put it under the carpet, but It
I can
works
tell.
for a while, but then comes right back.
I can tell. I can tell there's a lot of lumps in that carpet of very small and very large elephants that are running around under it. So, okay, let me ask you this. The medications that you are currently taking, have they reduced in any way the flashbacks or nightmares that you have?
Not really.
Has your sleeping been affected by your PTSD?
Yes.
What is the most recurrent nightmare that you have over and over that seems to be the problem?
I'm underwater and I can't breathe. And then I wake up because I jump out of the water.
Okay. Now this is important.
But I'm underwater and swimming and I'm suffocating.
Okay. Now, is this water in a pool? Is this water in a lake? What kind of water is it?
It's a dark water. It's more like a lake.
Okay. Now, are there things going on in the water? Are there fish swimming around? Is there algae? What's going on in the water?
Nothing. It's just darkness.
It's just darkness.
Darkness, and my hands are flipping around.
Mm-hmm. And when you wake up, what's the first thing that you think when you wake up other than the dream?
I'm glad it was a dream. I'm glad I could breathe. You know, when I catch my first breath, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm glad I'm alive.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Even if I wish I was dead.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And now let me ask you this. Since you're able to recover from that dream every time you wake up, you take a big, deep breath of air. I want to ask you this. Why is it that your mind is not willing to let that dream go?
Maybe because I never told my mother when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
But I told her a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of didn't believe me, but believed me, made fun of me, and said, oh, they were just playing. I said, Mom, I was 5.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So maybe the fact that I'm just alone and lonely in this whole thing.
So what usually happens with people with PTSD based upon sexual abuse as a child, from the claims that I've read about, and I read therapist notes all the time. I am not a therapist myself, but I want to tell you what I've noticed. There's an incident. People hold on to it for a really long time. Then they tell somebody who's supposed to, validate their emotions, which is usually a parent or a sibling, a brother, sister, etc. And usually that parent or sibling does not take that, warning well, or they pass it on basically to somebody, or they when they tell that person responds to them as, well, maybe not so much. It's like people who said they saw a flying saucer. Well, maybe it wasn't that. It's one of those kind of things. I need you to understand this, and this is incredibly important. Your mom is not in control of what happened. Even if she was in control of what happened back in the day, she's not in control anymore as to what happened. So the only way that you can find peace from that is to start loving who you are as a person for what you have been able to do in your life that makes you happy. And I know things are tough, and I get that, and I understand that you're limited. You don't want to be around people. But that being around people, that stems from this PTSD. The issue there is something that over time you can learn to go ahead and allow yourself to love who you are and realize that other people are not going to harm you. They're not going to put you in that situation again. And more so than just the physical aspect of being able to separate yourself from you as a child as to who you are now as an adult, you've got to realize that you as an adult are in control. You're in charge of what your body and your mind are doing. And I know that you'd like to go back in time and fix what happened, but you don't need to be able to go back in time and fix what happened in order to go ahead and forgive yourself for not telling people way back in the day. And that's incredibly important because you don't need other people to validate that that was wrong. You don't need other people to validate that you can be a happy person going forward. You do not need people to did that to you were very wrong and should be punished. It was incredibly wrong of them. They may not even remember what happened. The reality is, though, that you have to forgive yourself because you did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong. There's nothing that you could have done in that instance except for now, which is to be happy with who you are and share your experience with other people who have gone through that so that they can show you how they found the light of being not just a happier person, but somebody who's not afraid of other people. So I want to ask you this. Who are you the most afraid of nowadays?
Everybody. I got divorced 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My husband took my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I pushed all my friends away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to have nothing to do with anybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this. What was the thing that you loved to do before all this happened?
Laugh.
Laugh, for sure, for sure. The number one thing that I have seen individuals who have gone through what you went through is they actually like to go ahead and do comedy. So I know this one person, she would actually dress up as a clown and go work with kids and make them laugh. I know another person who does stand-up comedy now. And they are, frankly, the funniest people I've ever met because they've been to the darkest places people have ever known. And if you would be so kind, since you know how to use YouTube, so you know how to reach out to me, if you would start looking up comedy shows and watch them, you're safe from your computer, you're safe with that distance, but watch them because those comedy shows have humor that you can tap into that's going to empower you. And I don't know why it's so powerful to people who have been through that, but that is one of the beautiful things about humor is that it makes people smile, it makes people laugh, and it brings truth to things that normally you don't think about. So the one thing I'd like you to do is I'm going to pop over to the next caller, but I'd like you to watch some comedy shows after this, and I'd like you to go ahead and enjoy them and see if they help. All right?
Thank you so much. You've been an angel, and I'm sorry to all the listeners that I took so much. I'm sorry. You probably lost some.
No, you're fine.
Over my phone call.
No, you're fine. You're totally fine. You're absolutely fine.
Okay.
Have a wonderful night.
So much.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
And bye-bye. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Call from.
Okay. The phone kind of clicked there for a moment. Didn't say the name, so we're okay. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We just had a very sad phone call, but I want to transition to your phone call. Now, please remember to not use your real name. Would you like me to answer a question, or would you like me to go ahead and basically run hearing questions with you?
I'll make it really brief since it's the end of your
Sure.
your video. But I do want to reach out to that lady and say that there is hope. I want to say with all my heart that I suffer from several mental illnesses myself. As I lost an infant son at 4 months old. I went through sexual abuse. My last sexual rape was when I'm 35 and I was 30. So I just want her to know that there's hope. And I want her to know that I'm 35 and I'm not perfect, but I'm getting through. And Jesus is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Get on your knees and humble yourself before God, and He'll make a way.
Absolutely.
I just want to reach out to her and say that. So
excellent.
With that being said, I do have PTSD, and I suffer from a lot of trauma in the past. I'll kind of sum it up. I have PTSD, manic depressive, ADHD, panic disorder, and anxiety. and it led to chemical dependency. I don't know if that's why they denied me 3 times in the past. It's been like 3 years since I tried to reapply because I got really discouraged. It never went to court, but I did get sent to 2 different psychologists. But then once again, like I just said, I just seen some more mental illness at 30 when I was raped. So with that being said, you know, but my psychiatrist is right behind me. She's like, listen, why don't you have disability yet? And I'm like, I can't answer that. I don't know. Like, and it's so hard. Like, I'm really smart and I'm a really happy person. And like you said, comedy, I make everybody laugh, and I'm good with words. But when it comes to that paperwork, Walter, I'm a mess. I am a mess.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. I hate it too. Don't think
like,
I don't hate it.
What do you do when you wake up? Like, brush your teeth? Do you poop? Do you pee? Like, it's all of it.
Yeah, that's literally, and people don't realize, like, you're putting your entire life on a piece of paper, and then when you look at it, you go, my God, this is not who I thought I was. And it's a very demoralizing, you know. And then when they come back and say denied, you're like, but I gave you everything, you know? So, yeah. No, I got you. But thank you so much.
I even had a panic attack in the one guy's office, and I laid in the middle of the floor, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, yep, he's good. I'm like, what?
Yeah. No, I agree.
But you know as well as I know, Walter, that the psychologist is hired by the disability firm. So
yeah, you know. They're pro SSA. They're not pro claimant. And people get angry. They call me after the CE and they're like, "What doctor did you send me to?" And I'm like, "Oh, I told you. They're pro SSA. Like you're in for 10 minutes, you're out of 15 minutes. You know, that's how it works. You know." So,
right.
You know, but Madame.
So, is there anything I can do to make a next step? Like, my next theory was like, I don't want to pay you just huge attorney fees. I'm a single mom of 4 children.
Oh wow!
So I really am suffering economically.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a single mom of 4 kids, and 3 of them don't live in the household at this time, but 1 does. And like I'm trying to apply for everything. Like I didn't get all my second stimulus. Like it's just a mess for me. It's a mess. PTSD affects me tremendously.
So
I get really panicky when I get in public.
Okay, so the first thing that people don't realize about filing for disability benefits, which it sounds like you should do, is that the answers you give on like the 3373 residual or the functional capacity form, the supplemental anxiety, supplemental pain, those types of forms, they're really questions that they use to bring up to hurt the person ultimately if they want to deny them. And when you talk about all the things you could do as opposed to the things you really can't do, they use those statements to provide a framework, if you will, or think of it as like a bed where basically they can throw other things on top and say, well, you said you can play guitar. Well, you said you used to like to go and do this, but you can still do that. Well, you said you can ride a bicycle even though you have no other option. They use these fundamentals against people, and it's terrible because, you know, look, not everybody's great on every day. You know, some people can do some stuff on some days. Some people can't do stuff on most days. But when they ask people and people aren't prepared to logically, first off, limit their speech on these forums to only the things that show how they can't do what they can't truly do, you know, I tell people, I'm like, look, you know, when you're doing these forums, think of it like, you know, interacting with the police or other governmental officials. Right. And the reason why is this. You have to show.
I don't answer questions.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, when you interact with the police, it's, you know, short, simple, answer specifically, don't go into, you know, they don't need you to know your life story. So, you know, but the bottom line is when you're dealing with the government for application, you need to explain to them your limitations on, you know, your average day of what you can't do. You know, a lot of people are like, well, you know, I can do this on one of those days, so I got to tell them about it. I got to tell them the truth. And I'm like, that's not the truth. You can do that on one day of the week. What's the average of what you can do? That's the truth. So, you know, exactly. You know, but yeah, I would literally, go ahead. Yeah.
And like you're saying, like, you know, like you're saying, obviously you have some background, you know, obviously you have a lot of background in mental illness, you know, in recognizing, you know, like I have manic depression. I could be high as a kite feeling for a week and then be in bed for 4 days, you know. It's an up and down cycle and it really sucks. And medication does take the edge off, but it's not helping. So is that something else they look at too, is like, oh, well, they upped her dose, and she seems to be, but my doctor's right behind me. My psychologist or psychiatrist is right behind me.
This is what I would say. When it comes to medication,
my psychiatrist, I'm
yeah.
sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but she seems to think, I don't know, I want your legal standpoint, but she seems to think that since I put that I was actively an addict since my son passed away 13 years ago at 4 months old, that hurt my claim.
But how? So you were an addict for what? Addict with what medication or what drug? What narcotics?
I was opioid user, and then I was a heroin addict, and I've been sober for 2.5 years.
So that, all right, look, you could file a new claim, and it will slightly hurt it in the sense of creating trust that you can handle funds. They're probably going to want you to have some sort of payee, somebody who disperses the funds to you. But the bottom line here is, and you got to understand this, that if you're going and getting drug tests every month that show that you're not abusing, if you went through some sort of program to get off of it, if you have reasons to show the judge the bullet points as to why you're never going to use again, then that's going to actually be helpful to you with this claim, because you were there and you're no longer there, and you haven't been there for what, 2.5 years?
Absolutely.
So
right, and I'm on Vivitrol injections every month. So
if it were to hurt your claim, it would only be very slight. If you were to get another drug situation with the urine test, or for example, a blood test with a positive, that would be extremely detrimental to your claim, nay, I say material to your claim. And the reason why is they have a materiality clause that says, were these drugs material and causing the impairments? If so, not disabled.
Right.
All right.
Right.
But they'll apply.
I'm so glad that I've reached out to you, because, like my fiance went through, his long-term disability guardian, and they sent him to, God, I want to say the advocate group, and they didn't do crap, Walter. Like we knew what Social Security was doing before the advocate group contacted him, and I'm like, don't give them a dime.
Right.
Like they didn't do crap.
It is odd.
So, it's just...
Yeah, here's what happens.
People don't want to help. It's terrible. God bless your heart.
Yeah, thank you. There's advocates out there who do really good stuff, but the majority of them that I have found don't do anything. They're just there to collect what the attorney's fee is. They get the same thing as the attorney's fee. And so you have to be careful with who you pick. You got to be careful with what you're doing. And not all disability attorneys are great. I got to tell you, I know a few that I look at their stuff and I go, holy cow, this could have hurt the claim. This could be actually worse. So, you got to understand and disability law is very unique, and it's very specific. It's its own ocean's worth of law. It's not like personal injury, slip and fall, car accident.
I haven't worked in so many years. It's ridiculous. Like I have probably not worked way more years than I have worked and been successful in employment. My mental illness has affected my timely manner, and all that.
Well,
and I'm a good person to work with, but my reliability sucks, because in my mind, Walter, I'm on the highway on the way.
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm in the house putting my shoes on.
I have a question now, because when people say, Walter, that is specific to a geographic area, are you a tri-stater or a Midwesterner?
I am from Ohio.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha. All right. Even though, Ohio. Okay. Gotcha. Because people, Walter's a weird name, and people, when people say, they'll say it different ways in different areas, but in certain areas, it's very common. It's like an old German name. And, I'm actually the third of all the Walters. So, one day I'll have kids and there'll be a fourth Walter. And who I'm sure will,
awesome.
I'm sure he'll ruin the world in some way.
I got German in my blood, actually, and I'm English, but I know this is totally off subject, but just a fun food for thought for the day. My whole family is Jays, from my grandparents to my aunts and uncles to my mother to my children, and then I ended up getting ready to marry a Jay.
Wow. Yeah. Hey,
that's awesome. That's a God thing.
Oh I agree. Well, Madame, you have a wonderful, wonderful night. It's 10:03. I'm going to have everybody vote on who they believe should receive the $25 gift. And I will catch up with you at some point in the future. And please remember to reach out in the future. All right?
Yeah, I absolutely will. I did want to say, God bless you and have a great night. And I definitely will keep you in my prayers for everything that you do for the people that need you.
Thank you
so much, and you have a blessed night.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye. So, guys, it is that time again to go ahead and vote for who you believe should go ahead and receive the $25 gift. I obviously would like it to go to the lady who's having the mental impairment issues, that had the PTSD. If you believe that person should also receive the benefits, you can vote that way. You can vote whatever way you like. It's up to you. It's not up to me. I like to add my vote in there as a one vote, but it's up to you guys as to what you would like that to be. I also have to, I have the email for the guy who won last week, so now I can pay him as well. But yeah, guys, just go ahead, put down what votes would you like for who. I don't want to lead you in any way. It's up to you. Who would you like? I see for the lady with the PTSD who can't go to the doctor. So I see 3 votes. I see 4 votes. I see 5 votes. I see 6 votes. I see 7 votes. I see 8 votes, 9 votes, 10 votes, 11 votes, 12 votes, 13 votes, 14 votes, 15 votes, 16 votes, 17 votes, 18 votes, 19 votes, 20 votes, 21 votes. Well, I think we have our winner. I will reach out to her, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually write down her phone number right now. That way, I because it's tough to go back and find who did what and yada yada yada. But let me write down that phone number right now. That way, we're all set-a-roo and good to go. And I have it right here, guys. We're good to go. This is excellent. All right, I've got the phone number right here. All right, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reach out to that person tomorrow, figure out a way to get the funds to her. I always use PayPal, but we'll figure that out. I hope this will help her. $25 buys you, 2 meals, maybe more like 1.5, but 2 meals. Excellent. I'll keep that. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do the funds for her. I think she really needs them. You guys have an absolutely amazing and wonderful night. Please, everybody, thank Cheyenne for the help that she does. And if you get a chance to check out her Facebook, she has these beautiful singing videos. She would get way more votes and visits and thumbs up than I get with her beautiful voice and her beautiful face. So I will catch you guys a little bit later. Have an absolutely wonderful night, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.